Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Control-Alt-Tom podcast. This episode's going to be about learning platforms and what certifications are available for you and what learning platforms I've used as a part of my journey. For this episode, all the links are going to be in the comments on how to access these platforms and resources, just so you can take a look for yourself and even get a part of the Discord communities that are available for each of these platforms. I'm going to start off with sort of learning from basic cybersecurity into sort of more generic cybersecurity skills. So it's not so much what I've been covering in my cyber core skills course, which is also available, but these are specific platforms with videos, information like wikis, as well as labs as well. So I'm going to get on to Try Hack Me first. Really good platform, and it covers all skills and all bases of knowledge from red team, blue team, covers vulnerabilities, frameworks, and every sort of aspect of cybersecurity really. And if you're getting new into the area, I really suggest having a look at this. It's a really good platform. It has description pages, it has live Kali boxes and vulnerable boxes, and also sort of studies and frameworks and flows that you can look at and test against for basic cybersecurity learning. Then you've got Immersive Labs, which is a really good platform that's got training pathways such as DevOps and coding. If we're heading into more red teaming areas, then you've got things like moving off the back of Try Hack Me and less descriptive and less directed training is things like Hack the Box, where you can get on a vulnerable box and utilize that to leverage access and pound it. You've got VulnHub, which is more offline training, so you can download the box and put it onto whatever virtual platform you want to be using, whether it's VMware Workstation, and then download it and pound it that way. And then you can, there's always write-ups for these boxes as well. So if it's a archived box on Hack the Box, it will be archived and you can read up on write-ups on how people did it. And as we always say, there's more than one way to skin a cat. So using MSF Venom, for example, and Metasploit is one way of accessing a box, but also using more of a manual method of a bash script, for example, and using a manual buffer overflow attack instead of the automated frameworks which Metasploit gives us, for example. And obviously all these platforms I'm talking about are only going to be used for training, so this is what I've used to develop my own knowledge in a very safe and legal manner only. So when we talk about red teams, we sort of covered that off with Hack the Box and VulnHub. Then when we talk more specifically going on to blue team, we need to cover that off because we need to know about both sides of the fence. There's quite a dominant party within this and platform as Security Blue Team or Security Blue Team. Their certified blue team level 1 and level 2 are sort of the benchmarks for blue team awareness and sort of all that type of skills set. Each SIEM does have its own learning pathway, so if you're using a SIEM such as Splunk, it does have its own fundamentals, level 1 and level 2, and then goes on to its certification of Splunk Certified Power User, and Alien Vault has got its very much its own learning pathway. Some of the pathways you do have to pay for, so as memberships, if I go back, so Try Hack Me has a subscription basis, but you can use that as initial introduction for free. Hack the Box, you can access some of the boxes that were retired for free, and it's really good to do that. But when you talk about active boxes and start building up your points on there, then you do have to pay for an subscription. VulnHub, you can download some of the boxes for free, and a lot of the access boxes and even sequence boxes. So you might have, there's Harry Potter 1, 2 and 3, for example, which are quite good boxes to build your knowledge on for buffer overflow attacks, for example. But that does come with a subscription as well. And so does the Security Blue Team. That comes with a monthly membership as well as having to pay for separate examinations. Going on to more video-based series, so I know the OSCP and the Piaun sort of level video series does have labs as well, but OSCP is the sort of benchmark on resumes to become a bit of a pen tester. The ones that I've really sort of utilised in my time, and I'm not putting these in difficulty order, I'm putting these in order that I sort of rate them as, particularly maybe that I the order that I went through them. So if I talk about the Cyber Mentor, for example, really good, his title says it in the name, the Cyber Mentor, and the way he describes things and the way he goes into detail, the specifics of commands and Nmap, for example, and all the building blocks of the cyber kill chain, reconnaissance, and sort of the way he talks about it is blowing it, and almost an example for me in my own sort of area of training. So really good series. So one of his main videos that he's done is Practical Ethical Hacker, obviously only to be used within a safe environment and perfectly legal in your own lab area. But that Practical Ethical Hacker then leads on to his exam base, which is the PNPT, which is Practical Network Penetration Tester. Really good exam. That is a 5-day exam where you get, I think, 5 days on task, then an extra 2 days to submit the pen test report at the end. So that involves the full sequence of a pen test from external OS inside all the way through to getting root leverage access, and they even say to allow for maintaining access, but also it's not a hack the box scenario, it's not a CTF, this is an exam, so it's actually writing it up in the perspective of a pen test and using it in as a professional manner and describing things based on a commercial basis, not a capture the flag, so not like a write-up, for example. So that Practical Network Penetration Tester exam can be purchased from the Cyber Mentors Academy. I'll include the links in the description. But along with that, because it is full spectrum of the sort of red team side and the pen test side, there are other courses that they offer to support that. So there's really good OS Int, there's a PrivEsc course, privilege escalation, and there's also a pen test report which gives you an example and a sample of through GitHub, which is accessible after and during the course, which is a part of that, and tells you how to sort of effectively write a pen test report and how he would actually do it, because that's one aspect of his full business scope. Another good low level, I would say, is an introductory level red team pen testing access learning course and videos and labs, and also all the way through to the exam, is the INE pen testing pathway. So that's got basics all the way through to advanced and web exploit, and you can learn quite a lot about the basics about SQL injection and sort of cross-site scripting, and you can do the same on the Cyber Mentor, the Practical Ethical Hacker course, and they sort of go hand in hand, really. So it's up to you which platform you want to use, may depend on the language people are using and the enthusiasm and sort of even budgets, really. So have a look at them both, see which one's best for you. The INE pen test pathway generally goes on to the e-learning security junior penetration tester, so the EJPT, the exam it's called. It's currently version 2, and they've done a bit of a recycle based on some of the exam write-ups that people have submitted. So that's an exam where you get set questions and you have to answer those questions based on the access that you can leverage and get through on this penetration test. There's no submitting a report afterwards, but the platform changes. And going back to the Cyber Mentor, the PMPT exam, that's also going through a bit of a refresh at the minute, and we'll have version 2 out soon, where each time you sit it, it'll be a different environment. So if you go back for a resit, for example, and the PMPT currently offers a free resit when you pay for the exam, and if you don't manage to pass it the first time, then it may be, odds are it's going to be a fresh environment, totally different vulnerabilities, and that's why it builds up a really good skill set. And also the PMPT, with its sort of time allowance, is, I would say, a more fair version of the OSCP exam. But the OSCP exam is probably at a slightly same or higher level, especially now it's been refreshed to include Windows privilege escalation against a domain controller and more of a Windows domain environment. But then still, that's a 24-hour exam and costs more. So this is entirely up to yourselves. In my opinion, from what I've seen on LinkedIn and amongst the communities, the PMPT is really gathering kudos and respect. So that's something I would really look at. But if you want to step into it, EJPT is definitely one to look for on the papers as well. Advantage with each of these are they all come along with their own Discord support channels. So really easy to find with a bit of Googling and a bit of searching, and one obviously links to the other, so you can quite happily jump on 3 or 4 of these community support channels, and then you build up your own sort of online reputation. You get a part of the communities and network and sort of build up your own support networks, and you can never do a box alone. That's sort of a big thing. So you always do a box with someone else. You can bounce off of each other and learn, and if someone gets it before you, it creates healthy competition. And even if they're not going to tell you how they do it or how they did it, but then it's basically like you're learning together, including the whole practical ethical hacker course that's got the community. Get on there, speak to people who are doing the course, and if they get stuck, people can give each other advice and sort of help and support about what tools are best and alternative tools. So there's always, for every one tool, there's always 3 others that do the same job. You've got GoBuster, Derb, and loads of others that can do directory busting for websites, for example, for URLs. So have a look at always what all additional tools are available. So that's pretty much it. There is a giant sort of training with regards to areas of respect, and I sort of feel quite highly and I respect these organisations. So SANS and what they provide with the GC certifications they run. So for example, there's GCIH, which is the incident handler, which is their sort of benchmark, and then you can go, which includes a lot of red teaming, but that's sort of their base level. And there's blue teaming on there, but generally those courses are taught live. There are remote versions, there's labs, and they've got the full exam piece. Because they have been around a bit longer, they're more respected, but their exams are generally a little bit more pricier. So if you can get yourselves loaded onto one of them through either work or through personal finance, then that's really good. But that they offer some really good courses. And for commands I use for Linux practice, I use over-the-wire bandit, and it's always good to look at levels 0 to 15 on that and get really familiar. And for PowerShell familiarization, I use under the wire, and really good exercises on there, some ones to push you administratively as well whilst using the command line. As I said earlier, all links are included in the description. So thanks for listening. Hopefully some of this was useful, and I've done a very similar review of these training platforms on the Cyber Core Skills course, but obviously the advantage of podcasts are that you can listen in your own time. Thanks very much for listening. See you later.